All right. Hi, everybody. This is Jenna here with the Pandemic Wellness Coalition, and I'm here to do the online portion for the Lifestyle Series Dialogue. And this is part two in a multi series dialogue. Let me see if I can find this and pull it up and share my screen with you. Let's see. So pretty much I do these events with the Pandemic Wellness Coalition and I record them later because when you're actually at an event, it is much more of a dialogue. And I don't think it's quite fair to put what people are saying online on the YouTube platform. So, anyways, um, I will have this here for you. And if you decide to come in person, that is awesome. And if not, that's also cool. um, Anyways, like I said, my name's Jetta. I've worked in the park off and on for about 8 years. I worked in Terp under Aramark until COVID started. And then, well, I don't know if you can say COVID started, but before COVID. And then now I work with the Pandemic Wellness Coalition, which is the Park Services Mental Health Initiative. So this is part two of a multi-series dialogue. And this series focuses on ancient yogic practices for longevity and well-being, and they're super simple practices to add into everyday life. And this week we're going to be focusing on Asteya, or non-stealing, and aparigraha, or non-possessiveness. Now, if you haven't seen part one, I highly suggest that you look at that because these kind of build upon one another and they're really useful. We spend a week on each term, on each practice, and we bring that which works with us into our lives, and whatever doesn't work with us, we throw it out and just continue to live. So, yeah, nothing to lose. So, in the first episode, we discussed nonviolence, which is ahimsa, and truthfulness, which is known as satya. Like I said, I suggest watching that video because the yamas build upon each other. The yamas are codes of conduct written in ancient yogic writings. Yoga is a whole lifestyle. It's not just the practice of asanas or postures. And it's a lifestyle that's really just centered around getting to know yourself better and living a healthier, happier life. So it's pretty easy. Pretty easy to integrate these things into your life. Anyways, non-stealing or asteya. Like the other yamas, there's much more to this principle than it seems. Aside from stealing in the literal sense, this principle also refers to talking or for taking that which does not belong to you, and that can be either tangible or non-tangible. So non-tangible stealing can be taking credit for an achievement, a talent, or time. And then tangible stealing can refer to overusing natural resources, things of that sort. So I apologize for the typo there. So give yourself a second and think, where might the need to steal or take credit for something that isn't yours come from? I know when I want to take credit for something that's not quite mine, it usually comes from a sense of lacking something or a sense of incompleteness within me. It can also come from not having my needs met or comparison. And that can come with physical things that we might steal as well. Not having needs met, comparison, sense of incompletedness, what have you. So, like in the previous lessons, we can start with journaling ways that we might take credit for that which is ours or that which makes us feel deficient. Hi, everybody. This is Jetta here with the Pandemic Wellness Coalition, and I am here to bring you part two of the Lifestyle Series dialogue. This Lifestyle Series dialogue is designed around bringing in really simple things into everyday life to help you live a happier and more fulfilled life. These practices are centered around the ancient practices of yoga and yogic lifestyle, which really people think about yoga and a lot of them think about postures or meditation, but that's only a small part of yoga. Yoga itself is actually a series of practices that really are just centered around living a happier and more full life. So anybody can practice them, and what's cool about it is you can bring the things that work into your life and throw the things that don't work out of your life. So anyways, let me go ahead and pull this up. And if you haven't seen the first series or the first episode, part one, I highly suggest that you look at that. because these kind of build upon one another. And also, I suggest that you come to these events in person as well. I host them in person and then I re record them later and put them on the YouTube page because when they're in person, they're much more of a dialogue. And I don't think it's quite fair to put our dialogue up on a public platform. But if you want to take part, it's a really cute, fun, small community. I more than invite you and more than welcome you to come and join. Anyways, so today we're going to be practicing on Asteya, or non-stealing, and aparigraha, or non-possessiveness. These are two yamas, or codes of conduct, written in ancient yogic writing. So the first one is Asteya, or non-stealing. Now, like the other yamas, or codes of conduct, there is much more to this principle than just the name non-stealing. Aside from stealing in the literal sense, this principle also refers to taking that which does not belong to you, which can be either tangible or non-tangible. Now, non-tangible stealing can be taking credit for an achievement, talent, or time even. And then tangible stealing can refer to overusing natural resources too. So it's much more than just taking something that doesn't belong to you, like going into a store, maybe grabbing a chocolate bar or something. It really goes into every area of life, that which we might take credit for, which isn't ours, or that which we might use a little bit too much, like when we take too much that we don't quite need too abundantly. Now, let's get to the core of why we might do this, why we might partake in stealing. And if you kind of sit back and think about different ways, or different times when you might have stolen things, and remember that can also be time, like over using time to, perform a certain task at work, or even when you're at home and need to get something done. And it really comes from a sense of lack or a sense of incompleteness within oneself. It can also come from not having needs met, and then also comparison, so comparing ourselves to other people. That might make us feel as though we need to have what other people have, or that we might need to have more so that we can feel better, or feel better in comparison. Now, in the previous lessons, we focused on journaling, about different ways that we might embody these different yamas and different reasons why we need to embody them. So we're going to go ahead and practice that journaling with these new terms as well. And you can pause this video if you like, if you want to write something down. I'm more than welcome you to do that. But I want you to start with journaling the ways that you might take credit for that which is not yours, or ways that you might feel deficient. And that can be kind of hard. So whenever we do these practices, we focus on being really honest with ourselves, but also not judging ourselves for how we feel. It just is how it is. We don't label things as good or as bad. We don't try to make ourselves feel guilty about things. We just say how it is and how we feel. So start off by journaling a couple ways that you might feel deficient, or reasons you might take credit for something which isn't yours. It's really important to listen to your inner stereo here. What are your thoughts about yourself? What are your thoughts saying? Are they positive? Are they negative? Is what they're saying actually true? And this is important because whenever we mess something up, or if we're feeling really vulnerable around other people, we can really talk down on ourselves a lot and give ourselves names, like say, oh, something small, like, oh, I can't do anything right. And while it might seem like something small, chances are you're repeating that dialogue to yourself a lot. So we want to work on going in there, noticing this, and then removing it. So give yourself a second. What are your thoughts saying about yourself? Or imagine a situation where you might take something, or you might desperately want something that you don't need. What is your mind saying, even when you're just pretending like you're in that situation? Write that down. Now, for this practice and for other practices, we can use other people as a mirror. Is what we say about each other true? And other people are a good mirror because, as they say, what you don't like in others is typically what you don't like within yourself. When it comes down to it, we all have the same qualities, but some of us, practice or have more of those qualities within ourselves. But ultimately, what we don't like in others is what we don't like in ourselves. So if we are annoyed with somebody else, let's say we're at the store and somebody's annoying us that we don't even know, or we get into an argument with our partner, it's important to take a step aside and realize, okay, what is it that this person is doing that's bothering me? And how do I embody that at times? And once more, be really realistic with yourself during this practice. Don't label yourself. Don't say that you're good or bad or anything like that. It just is what it is. Also, monitor the belongings that you grasp to in times of discomfort and maybe write them down as well. I know a big one for me is chocolate. I always reach towards that when I'm really uncomfortable or when I'm really stressed. Um, Other people could reach for something like a pillow, a yoga mat, a cup of coffee is really normal. And then there are also more unhealthy things that we could reach for in times of discomfort as too. So once again, write these things down and pause this video if you need. So what we want to do here is we want to remove the negative things that we're saying about ourselves and bring in the opposite, because we don't want to just leave a void where these thoughts used to be and where these thoughts used to fulfill a lot of time. So we're going to bring in affirmations here. And you can affirm yourself by saying, I have all that I need. I'm comfortable with my own talents. I embody my individuality. And cater this to yourself. So whatever that negative self dialogue that you wrote about was, write something that is opposite and positive about yourself. And you can practice saying that in a mirror if you like. It's kind of awkward to practice affirmations in a mirror, I find, which is silly because we're really just complimenting ourselves and looking at ourselves. So it's important that we get comfortable with that and comfortable with lifting ourselves up here. So cater your own affirmations. Studies show also that affirmations really help when they're repeated over a certain length of time to increase one's positive worldview and also positive self-view. It creates an all-around more positive way of living and happier way of living. But like anything else, it has to be repeated. So try to keep this one simple too. Try to avoid writing down 10 affirmations. Do 1 or 2, maybe 3. And like I said, try to make them all positive. So try to avoid using the word no, and instead say I am instead of I am not. Now, a yoga posture that can help when we practice Asteya or non-stealing is Cobra, which is shown here on the left. Back bends are shown to increase confidence and happiness. And it's really important if you practice this that you really press through the chest. A lot of people can dump back bends into their lumbar spine, into their lower back. That part of our spine already naturally is curved like this. So we want to move that curve up a little bit further to create space in the spine. So really imagine as though somebody's like pulling your chest farther forward. And imagine as though your heart space is just getting wider and wider and wider, because we really want to feel it in this area. You can practice your affirmation in this posture as well, and also breathe deeply too. Try to use the strength of your spine here to hold yourself up as well, to hold yourself up nice and confident as you say this. Try not to dump into your hands, and also try to avoid bringing your shoulders up to your ears like this. We want to create space. We want to lengthen here. Another good yoga posture for this is Tadasana, which is palm tree pose. And what it is it's essentially standing, but it's more complicated than just standing. To practice Tadasana, one can stand confidently with his or her shoulders pulled back. Standing confidently or with your heart open is shown to also increase happiness as well as embody happiness. So not just have happiness up here around your head, but also feel it more in your cells almost. It also helps increase confidence. It's really nice. It can help you face whatever it is you have to face that day. So spend a week, if you can, practicing Asteya or non-stealing, and take notes during this week. Maybe practice in the morning for like 5 minutes or in the evening for about 5 minutes and write down how you will or how you did practice non-stealing, things you might have noticed. Because what's important here is we want to create a gauge. We want to know what's really working for us. And that way we can keep those things in our lives a little bit longer. And then the following week, we'll practice non-possessiveness or parigraha. This is also seen as non-attachment or non-greed. And we can see this practice in everyday life by taking stock of that which we own and the material items that we keep around us. The concept of minimalism, or only owning items in which you use, is along the same lines of a parigraha. So essentially, when one practices a parigraha, they don't want to spend a bunch of money and buy a bunch of frivolous items. They want to keep things a little bit more streamlined and simple. Embodying this yama can help save money and space, as well as cultivate an appreciation for that which you come into contact with and use. Think of the clever saying, the items you own end up owning you, right? So the journal activity for this one, take stock of the items around you in your immediate surroundings. And then write down, do you need them? And do you bring them joy? So I look in my immediate surroundings right now. I see this jade plant. Do I need it? No, but does it bring me joy? Yes. What else do I see here? I also see a lucky bamboo right behind my computer. Do I need it? No. Does it bring me joy? Yes. This computer mouse. Do I need it? Yes. I think I need this. I work on the computer a lot. It makes my life a lot easier. So they can be things that you don't necessarily need, like in terms of need to survive, but things that you need to make your life a heck of a lot easier too. Everybody's needs are different as well. And everybody practices these different principles in different ways. So it's important to embody that which works for you. So write down, okay, do I need this? Does it bring me joy? And then the big question is, do these items enhance your quality of life? Once you're done journaling about what's in your immediate surroundings with this, you can go ahead and go out even further. You can go out to what's in your closet if you want to, go down that wormhole. You can go to what's in your car. You can go to what's in your living room, wherever your space is here. When it comes down to it, our individual needs are very little. And the problem here is that desires can keep growing and growing, and it can be easy to be caught up in a mindset that we need to consume more in order to be more fulfilled. This can be easily practiced when shopping, this concept of non-possessiveness. So when you're out shopping next time, ask yourself, do you really need the item that you're purchasing? And then I have a challenge with this one, and that is to donate, give away one item that you no longer need. This might be a little bit difficult because we are in COVID times, but maybe you can set it aside until restrictions ease a bit. A yoga posture that can help with this one is knees to chest. So go ahead and lay down on your back and then hug your knees in really close to you, as close as you can. And then if you want, you can even peel your head up off your mat and hug your head into your knees too. You can find comfort within yourself and peace with the belief that all of your needs are met. So once more, take a week perhaps to write down and to practice a parigraha or non-possessiveness. And once more, we're focusing on, utilizing that which works for us and minimizing that which doesn't work for us. And I hope to see you all at my next Lifestyle Series dialogue. It is on January 26th, which is tomorrow. I was a little bit late recording this one. And if I don't see you there, I will record and upload part 3 at a later time. Here's thank you and have a good evening, everybody.